We're back here at the Morning Coin. My name is Kyle, and we look at data and facts. We're going to touch right now on the Fed. Today is the Fed meeting, and we're getting not only rate cuts, but we're also rate cut information or decisions. We're also getting SEP data or an SEP report that includes the Fed's dot plot. And that is important because it projects what the Fed and the Fed voting members are thinking for future rate cuts into 2025. Like we mentioned earlier in this week on the Monday video, it has major implications on what markets could do based on their expectations of the economy. Basically, the SEP signals what the Fed members think that the economy is going to do over the next 6 months to 3 years. So it's a very important report coming out. Now we have analysts that cover this kind of stuff. A lot of the analysts are around three rate cuts for 2025, but there are some analysts that are projecting two rate cuts. And when I say rate cut, I just mean one cut of 25 basis points or 0.25%. Those could come, multiple cuts in a month, or they could be spread out. If you look at prediction markets in the bond market, you see that these cuts are predicted to begin again in July of 2025, and this is due to the increased inflation we've seen recently, a little bump in inflation. And the concern is that if rates, are basically paused, markets will see that as inflation coming back into markets, increased uncertainty on the state of the economy, concerns that the Fed might become hawkish again. Now, we didn't see the Fed become hawkish earlier this year when we had a pause in rate cuts, but we did see markets kind of muted, especially the super high risk area of markets, aka crypto, right? We moved sideways for months. So something to keep an eye on. And when it comes to markets, as Bitcoin is down today, Ethereum is down, Bitcoin down around $4,000, Ethereum much less, around 250. We could see a lot of volatility today, obviously being the Fed meeting. If you've ever watched the markets while Jerome Powell is talking or the Fed is releasing reports, you will see some wild swings. Now, on others, that's the altcoin index. We are seeing, some downward pressure as well, usually more significant on the altcoins. And I am a little concerned that if we see some, hawkish behavior, some hawkish rhetoric from the Fed, altcoins will suffer more. Just the low caps generally do suffer more, even in stocks, when the Fed is a little bit more hawkish, and that's just because if the Fed is more hawkish, then investors become a little more risk off. But on the others chart, we're just bouncing off the 377 billion line on the local Fibonacci retracement here. That's the 0.382. I wouldn't be surprised if we got all the way back down to the 0.236 line. Hopefully, we don't bounce off that line that's a little lower and we continue to see upward pressure, but it's not another question to get back to that 330 line. But I hope we don't see it because we could lead to a bigger breakdown there. If we do hit it, I would look for a strong bounce. Otherwise, I think it would just be a delay of the inevitable, but something to keep in mind, and might be some good entry points. Once again, this is not financial advice, just what I am seeing in the charts here. Crypto is heating up, and so are the scams. The projects out in the crypto marketplace aren't the only things becoming more sophisticated. So are the scammers. And I want to talk about this new scam that I heard of that isn't necessarily a new technique, but the organized nature of it is something I have not heard of to this extent in the crypto world. 800, just shy of 800 people were arrested in Lagos, Nigeria, who are accused of participating in crypto scams. And the most wild thing about this was, of the 800, 140 of them were Chinese nationals. So this is definitely an organized scam. And the way they handled it, or the way they did it, was they developed relationships with probably lonely crypto investors online through social media platforms like X, WhatsApp, I'm sure Telegram, Discord, the common players in the space. These relationships were primarily romantic in nature, and after gaining some trust, the scammers would ask the victims to, either invest in a project or send them money so they could invest their money in the project on their behalf. And this scam being blown up by the Nigeria government, or at least the local police forces, really says a lot to how organized this crime was. They were in a high rise in Lagos, actually, and that high rise was raided by local police. And on the back of all this, the most important lesson is that crypto scams are becoming more sophisticated, and the onus is on us to make sure we're making responsible decisions on our crypto investments. Crypto is still the Wild West, meaning that you cannot remove all risk from your crypto investments. You'd be silly if you thought that you could, but what you can do is you can take a couple strategies that, to make them safer. This is not financial advice for you, but the method I use is that I do extremely deep research on my projects before investing in them to try to cover up any, or uncover any signs of any malicious activity in the project. And then, secondly, one of the things I do is I take about 24 hours or more after researching a project to kind of let the emotions and excitement of any project I find kind of subside before I make any investment in the project. And that's because you want to make as factual based decisions as possible and try to take the emotion out of the decision. Just because you make clearer, more logic based decisions, if that's the case. And I have found, at least for myself, that when I make more logic based decisions, usually they are better decisions. Now, that has not prevented me from losing money or investing in any rug pulls in my time in crypto, but I've certainly been more susceptible to them when I get really excited and just press the buy button without really thinking about and considering the risks of any given project. So make sure you're doing your research, make sure you include the risks in that research. Well, anyway, thank you for watching this episode. Hope it brought you value. If it did, throw me a sub. From me and Bully, we might do one more episode here with Bully before I'm traveling. But from us, have a great Wednesday. Fingers crossed for the Fed. Hopefully, we get some good news and some bullish markets. And I hope that the Santa rally commences today. We will see. Have a great Wednesday. Take care and see you guys tomorrow.